Good morning, guys. Welcome to another video. It is the last day of the river season. As you can see behind me, I'm next to a very, very flooded river. This is the Wye. I'm down here today with my friend Mick. We've come down for the day. It's a very different river than we were expecting. The rivers at home have been in a terrible state for, I don't know, about a week and a half, something like that. So I did fancy doing something different because staying around home would have been not good at all, not great. The Wye was, until a couple of days ago, was very low. We booked on this stretch, thinking we were going to do some trotting, to be honest. That was the idea. It's the water was cold. Thought we'll do some trotting. We booked on here, and ever since then it's been going up. However, the snow melt seems to have gone through, and some warm rain came through. It was rained quite a lot yesterday, and it's put the water temperature up to 8.1. I don't know what it was before. I say up, I'm assuming it's been up because, like I say, we've had a load of snow melt go through, so it's definitely up. I would imagine it's definitely up. So, as I say, we're here. At least on here, we've got a decent chance of some barbel. 8.1 degrees, it's up, so we have a chance. Although, looking at it, it's, well, you can probably see, it's almost over the bank here. We're about, I don't know, 18 inches before it comes over the bank. It is still coming up as well. We have safety first, of course. We've got a route out. If we can't get back through the normal track, we can get back through the field. So, as I say, safety first. Do know this stretch relatively well. Fished it several times this year. But as I say, we really came on here not because it was going to be like this. If it was going to be like this, I'd have picked a different stretch, to be honest. Because this is relatively straight, so there's very little in the way of slacks. So what we're going to do is sort of drop in behind some trees like this, which are actually rooted down in the bank, and fish just as far out as the river, really. That's the idea. Right, I'm waffling. We need to get on with it, don't we? Gear-wise, I've got my Dower Power Mesh 2 3/4 pound rod. Nice and beefy for these conditions, as you can imagine. Got GSBR LT 5000 reel there. I'll stick all the details of all this stuff that I'm using down there in the description down there. I've got my standard Barbel running ledger rig on here, which I'll link you to a video up there on the new channel. You can go and have a look at that if you want to see how I tie this up. It's very adjustable. It's going to be big feeders, dynamite, shrimp and krill ground bait, nice and smelly, as you can imagine in these conditions. And I'm going to go on my old faithful dynamite hotfish GLM boilies with a paste wrap. And I've got some garlic luncheon meat as well from dynamite if that fails. So I think we better get going. The sun is just coming up over the hill there, as you can see. It looks very black over that way and very sunny over that way. The wind is very cold. I need to stop waffling and get fishing. So guys, obviously it's going to be Brewmandel day today. Looking at this river, I've got my 2 1/4 pound Tesco rod with me as well, but I don't think that's quite going to cut it today, especially as I think, looking at it, I'm going to have to use a 5 ounce lead, or feeder in this case, just to hold out there. I've got to fish sort of where the riverbed is. It's no good fishing on the bank here. Firstly, because we're just going to get snagged up loads. There's lots of brambles and stuff down there. But secondly, we're not going to get any bites either. So, glugged up boilies. I think stinky stuff is going to be the order of the day. I did think about perhaps bringing some maggots today. And maggots can be a good winter bait, but I think in these conditions there's sort of 2 inches of visibility. I think we need something smelly, which is what we've got. Now I'm going to paste wrap this. There's no paste in this range. You have to make your own if you want some. So I'll direct you to a video up there again, where you can go and have a look how I make this up from the boilies. I make the paste from the boilies. Right, let's swing this out. I think we're fishing today for a bite or two. If we have more than 2 bites today, I'll be absolutely amazed. Right, let's see if we can even hold bottom there. Yep, we're definitely in the river. There's a definite donk. Let's pay out some line. Just to put it into perspective, on the local gauge when I fish here in the summer, when it's low, it's at about 0.3, 0.35, somewhere around there. Today it's at 4.2. Well, got a 5-ounce feeder on and it's moving. Even with a bow line in. Never mind, we're here. We'll see how we get on. It's going to be sunny, I think, this morning. But I can't see as it's going to make too much odds today with the fish have got 4 metres of, or in these swims, 5 metres of vari-coloured water over their heads. Just hoping that rise in water temperature's got the barbel moving. I don't think we're going to do too much good with the chub today. And it's not very sporting catching chub on 2 3/4 pound rods. It'd be nice to get in a swim and perhaps work it a little bit. But then again, you know, I think perhaps we should move. Keep moving. Keep on our toes. I don't know. It's one of those really today. Perhaps do a bit of both. Perhaps do 3 or 4 swims and just rotate them during the day. So a swim or two looks nice a bit further up. So it might be worth getting up there. Perhaps give it an hour in here. We've got sort of 12-hour day today. So perhaps fish in here, move, fish there for an hour, move again, fish there for an hour, and perhaps come back here and just keep rotating them. Weather's so changeable at the moment. Yesterday we had, let's say it rained all day, it was about 13 degrees. We saw the last video, I did get out, it was very windy, but it was about 13 degrees. It's about 3 degrees when I left home this morning. It's not much more now, and it's relatively windy, as you can probably hear. Normally we can get down the bank and get out of the wind. We're not getting wiped out with debris, which is a good start. I do think this swim's probably a bit too boily though, to be honest. It's really boiling up in here. It's one of those days where you find a sort of spot and you think, okay, that looks quite nice. It's not too much boiling going on. And then you set your stall out and within 30 seconds there's a big boil. See, this doesn't look too bad now, relatively speaking. And all of a sudden, there's a big boil. We'll keep casting as well. Get some bait in. God, blimey. There's quite a lot of debris coming down the river, as you can see. What I've got there is I've got a gripper stop on the line, just up from the feeder. And that's just catching all the debris that's coming down. Now, the interesting thing is, looking at this river out here, I mean, it just looks horrendous, doesn't it? The interesting thing is, that's been in the water a good 5 minutes. There's still bait in the feeder, which tells me it's actually not that turbulent down the bottom there. There's still paste on the boilie. So it's certainly not rattling through down the bottom like it is at the top. And Mick does his own blog, so if you want to go and have a read about this session, you can go and, again, I'll link you in up there. You can have a look how Mick's session went. Although obviously if he does catch anything, we'll show you on here as well. What I like to do as well when I'm Barbel fishing is hold onto the rod. Firstly, that way it doesn't get dragged into the river, but we have got a big looper line out, so we shouldn't get big slam over bites. We should get some more drop backs really, and just sort of taps and rattles on the rod tip. But if I'm nature watching or daydreaming, you could feel it through the blank. I'll feel the rod top knocking just through the blank here, just with my thumb on the rod. So after today, we're back on the still waters, back on the canals. Kind of don't mind. It does kind of get me to do other things, because I do absolutely love fishing the rivers. I do get very locked in on it, and don't really do any other stuff during the river season, canals wise and still water wise. So I do kind of look forward to it in a strange way. Good to give the rivers a break as well, I think. We're under so much pressure these days from pollution and predation. I think it's good to give the fish a bit of a rest from angling as well, and at the time of year when most of them anyway are going to be reproducing, give them a bit of break. Let them repopulate the rivers. Well, Ross, there's not a lot going on here. Yeah, I'm going to give it another 5 and then I'm going to have a move. I'm not one for sitting still really these days. Get very itchy feet very quickly. I'm going to try and drop on some fish, I think. Well, perhaps, as I was saying earlier, perhaps circulate the swims. But this one's not doing anything at the moment. I've not had any signs at all. So I think we'll have a bit of a move. So a bit of an update. It's 1:30. Neither Mick nor myself have had a bite, I don't think. I had one funny little rattle, possibly a bite, possibly just a feeder moving on the bottom, but it could have been a bite. But nothing developed from it. Just been able to walk along the stretch again, and no swims that take my fancy particularly any more than this one just at the moment. Mick's been doing a bit of roving about. He's probably covered sort of 3 or 4 swims now, a few times, and he's not done any better. So let's clear all this stuff off the line before we cast in. So yeah, just had a bit of lunch and a bit of a chat with him. Like I say, he's not really done any good with the roving approach. So who knows whether we're going to be able to winkle anything out or not. Chub are conspicuous by their absence. Not really chubby conditions though, so I'm not really surprised. They're not great fans of coloured water, are they? Really coloured water like this. We'll keep plugging away. Just hope for a bite. I'm going to give it perhaps another couple, maybe 3 hours in here. Just see if sitting in this swim does get us any bites. I think it probably would have by now. We've been in here perhaps 2.5 hours already. We probably would have if we were going to get any bites. So I'm going to think Mick's right down the other end in the much deeper water. So we're covering all the bases from that point of view. So it's just a case, I think, of I'll stick it out in here for 2 or 3 hours unless Mick does any good down there, and vice versa. If I do some good, we'll get him to come up here. But I think if we don't have anything, I'm going to give it perhaps another, let's say, 2.5, 3 hours in here, maybe till perhaps 4 o'clock. And if nothing's happened at all, I think I'll have a move downstream. It does seem that we're not actually going to drop on any fish as such. But with it this high, a lot of the stretch isn't fishable. I mean, there's 300 or 400 metres above me of the stretch, and there's not a single swim you can fish up there. Message a couple of people I know fishing on the Avon, and they're doing about as well as me and Mick, so we're not missing anything at home, as suspected. A bite. We're in. It is a bite. We are in. Wow. Rested the swim up. Look at that. Feels chubby. Blimey. Not sure now. I don't think it's pulling hard enough to be a barbel. It's a little one. You never know. God. Just leave my mate a message. God, it's right in the edge here. It tells me it's probably a chub. It's certainly pulling. Really trying to keep him out of the foliage in the edge here. Try and keep him moving. So you are just about. It's Mr. Barbel, can you believe it? Can you believe it? Well, that's awesome. I thought when he got me in the edge there, I thought it was a chub all day long. Oh, it's not a bad one. Oh, straight in the net for us. Wonderful. Well guys, that's about that. Absolutely fantastic. Last day of the season has come good. As I mentioned a minute ago, it's only about 1:45 now, something like that. So, chance for some more, but it's not been easy today. And as I'm sure you can hear, it's absolutely blowing a gale again. Right, let's not keep him out. Let's get him back in the water. Well, we've made sure he's had a good rest. Rest up in the net before he goes out back out in this flow. I think he's ready to go now. Doesn't want to leave me. Off you go, chap. Fantastic. So guys, over the moon. Really pleased. Really pleased with that. I did think we were looking at staring down both barrels of a blank there. But yeah, gives you a bit of faith as well, doesn't it? It's not helping. I mean, I was chatting to Mick about it. It's not helping normally, you know, when you're barbel fishing, you get lots of chubby knocks and rattles and taps, and gives you a bit of confidence. But when you get nothing, because the chub just don't seem to be interested at all, it's as me getting very itchy feet and wanting to move. But I did think today, as I mentioned, I did think that perhaps it might be a good idea to stay put in one swim and try and build it a bit. And it seems to have been the case. Mick's come up and joined me now, not surprisingly. He's just dropped in the swim below. So hopefully you can have one out as well now. That'd be good. Well, I was absolutely convinced that was a chub. As you could tell, I'm sure. I don't think it's fighting a bit hard, but it was doing that sort of head shaky thing chub do. And when it came in the edge here, I just thought, oh, it's a chub. It got me in these what would normally be reeds and branches and stuff that are miles out of the water that are actually submerged there. It did me in there, and I thought, oh, we've had it now. Because there's so many bramble bushes and stuff down here that are under the water. But no, very pleased with that. Over the moon. I wonder if we can catch that one's big brother. I've been greedy now, aren't I? I'm very happy, to be honest, to have caught. When we did that water temperature as 8.1, which is it's not terrible at all, but in these conditions as well, where you're very limited where you can cast. Because, I mean, I've put on a 6-ounce lead and chucked it out into that flow, and it's just bouncing along. And it's the biggest lead I've got with me. And that's a lead, not feeder. It's just very limited to fishing close in. You know, we'd done a few swims, and Mick had roamed and I hadn't roamed, and neither had worked. Deep water didn't work. The shallows didn't work. I really did think we were looking at a blank. So as I say, very happy with that. If nothing else happens now, so go home happy. Love a few more bites, of course, but it's not that sort of day, really. Blimey, it's freezing this wind. I've never known a westerly be so cold. Mick said, look, the weather forecast, it's supposed to be showers later. They've changed their mind and said it's going to be sleet showers now, not rain showers. That gives you an idea how cold it is. The wind chill is just horrendous. It'd be nice to put the drone up, but I can't. The wind's going that way. If I put it up, it's just going to be in that wood. And that'll be the end of that. Well, that's a bit of an update. It's about 4:45 now. Nothing else happened at all. Not the slightest bit of interest. Mick's moved back to the downstream stretch. And he's not doing any good either at the moment. It's starting to look rather black. But I think we're now probably going to get wet for the rest of the session. I've just checked on AccuWeather, and it says on there it's going to rain now until sort of later on in the evening. So we'll suck it and see. It's not particularly nice conditions anyway with this wind, but getting wet as well. I think maybe will just tip the balance for me. You know, no bites and a bitey cold wind, and then mixed in with rain as well. I think that may just push me over the edge of going home. But we'll see. We'll see how bad it gets. Got my waterproof gear on. All fairly waterproofed up. No, that's it. I'm going to call it a day of that. This rain is setting now, and there's absolutely nothing happening. Well, as you can see, it's starting to get dark. We've stuck it out in this swim, but to no avail. Mick has left already. He hasn't done any good today, unfortunately, but I managed that one bite, one lovely barbel. So yeah, I'm very happy with that today. It would be nice to have a few more, but it wasn't going to happen, I don't think, in these conditions. Whatever we'd have done. Mick tried roving. I tried the static approach and managed to winkle that one out, fortunately. As I say, it's chucking it down now, and I could probably stay for, I think, about another 45 minutes till curfew, but there's nothing happening, and I think that's put an end to a wonderful season. I've had an absolutely cracking season this season. I had some lovely catches, some wonderful catches, and those of you that are regular viewers of the channel will know I've had some cracking fish and catches this year. It's been absolutely wonderful. Certainly can't complain, and I'm certainly looking forward to next season. Although, you know, with the closed season, it does give me the chance, or as I was saying earlier, kind of makes me, in inverted commas, do something a little bit different. We'll get after some tench, we'll get after some zander, we'll do a bit on the canals, a bit on some still waters. So I'm looking forward to it in a strange way. I will miss my rivers, but I am looking forward to it. So I'm not sure exactly where I will be on the next session. I would imagine probably on a canal and probably after some zander. But from a very wet River Wye at the end of the 2022-2023 season, thank you very much for watching. Thank you to all the subscribers. Thank you to the people who view the videos. It's much appreciated, and I hope you enjoy them. Tight lines when you get out there. Many thanks to the channel patrons for your wonderful support throughout the season and your continued support. And I'll see you all again. Hopefully a little bit of a drier spot very soon.